Hey guys, Al here. So now that you've done your soil test, some of the questions then become, well, what do I do with that? It really depends of your goal as a grower. So if you're in a traditional farming situation, it's going to give you a ton of information as to what you need to achieve your yield, especially if you get recommendations, and you're going to tweak that a little bit depending on what you've put on in the past and how you know your climate in your fields and whatnot, drainage, all those type of things. But for example, it gives you a rate of phosphorus to put down. You might know, hey, I got heavy soils, phosphorus isn't going to move very well in my soils, and I need that phosphorus on this corn now to hit that bushel per acre goal. So I'm going to make sure that I put it down in a 2x2, and maybe you put it down a little bit extra because you want to do a build program, because that you own that ground, you're going to farm it for a long time, or a garden or whatnot. And then there's obviously different ways. If you want to do organic sources, are you going to be putting manure down? Well, if you want that manure to get worked in to the soil, are you going to till it in? Are you going to let it get worked in through biology? Are you going to put it down on cover crops? There's a lot of different options that you have. Now, if you're in a food plot program like the Vitalize 1-2 system, and you're really looking to get off of synthetics, or at least reduce the amount of synthetics that you're using, the soil test is really going to tell you a lot of information about kind of the structure, the foundation of your soil, right? So is the house built on a shaky foundation, or do we have a really solid concrete foundation? And that's really what it's going to tell us about our soil. So it's going to give us things like CEC and base saturations, macronutrient levels, as well as micronutrient levels. And those macro and micros are going to move a little bit throughout the testing. That's why we want to limit variables like we talked about in the other video. But what we can do with that is say, okay, we have a light soil. What should we do with a light soil? One, we want to increase magnesium, most likely, depending on where pH is at, get that chemical structure a little bit tighter. We want to reduce tillage. We want to attack that soil a little bit differently, handle it with kid gloves. We're also going to say it's probably best, depending on your program and what type of fertility you are going to put down, how you apply that fertility, right? So if it's a real sandy soil, you don't want to go out there and just throw down triple 13 3 months before anything's growing, right? That's not a good use of your dollars. It's not good for the environment, and it's probably not going to help yield too high of a good growth crop or cover crop or food plot crop of what you're trying to achieve, because honestly, trying to hold all those nutrients isn't likely going to happen in that light of a soil. On the other side, in a very heavy soil, some of those nutrients, phosphorus, for example, doesn't move very well. So if you feel like you need to put down synthetic phosphorus, you have to then consider, do I need to incorporate this in, or is this going to be a long-term build program where I'm going to let that seep down slowly, or should I look at alternative ways to get phosphorus into that root zone or the rhizosphere, say through a manure application and allowing biology to unlock it through root exudates, as well as moving it through worms and whatnot. So getting that initial soil test is really going to help you to adjust pH, adjust base saturations from a chemical structure side of things, and really make that go forward plan as to what you can achieve going forward. Then you can start looking at soil health assessments, so we can take a measure of biology, things like CO2 respiration, microbial active carbon, and various other metrics. And then we can really see what type of progress we're making as far as biology in the soil, and how we're able to cycle nutrients quicker, as well as unlock a lot of those nutrients that are locked up in the geology below ground. Hopefully you guys find that helpful. Check us out at vitalizeseed.com.